This is Starforged, Tabula Rasa, written and performed by Redstone Archender. Based on the game by Shawn Tomkin. Previously on Starforged, Tabula Rasa. Mere days ago, the bounty hunter Janya awoke, trapped in a medpod, due to an alien creature that's embedded in his neck. Tendrils have grown up into his brain and destroyed all his memories of the past. Luckily, he was freed by his captain, a feline creature named Evelyn, who communicates through the changing colors of her iridescent fur. His friend, Ulan Finn, has led Janya to the weapons manufacturing station Scirocco, where Janya has learned of a previous iron vow to destroy Blade Valenus of the Valenus pirate clan, which is why he attacked Logan Valenus, eldest brother and right-hand man to Blade, by convincing Quinn Valenus, the youngest sibling in the clan, to hire him to do that deed, hopefully to disrupt the clan's newfound power in the region. Quinn now desperately wants to possess this unknown power, but the removal means certain death to Janya. The clan has traced the forgetful bounty hunter to the Scirocco station, and the AI named Auger is demanding to know if Janya will keep his forgotten vow.
You have no memory of it, but you did make an iron vow to destroy this person and remove the threat. Will you?
How much time do I have to think about that?
None. They are in communication with this station right now.
You are correct that I do not remember making that vow. But Janya grabs the piece of metal from his neck and holds it out and says, "But I swear to you now, I will remove Blade as a threat." And so that is a swear a vow move. And, oh, sweet. It's plus heart. And then I have the +1 from the connection. And and I roll 5, so that is a 7 versus a 1 and a 10. So it's a weak hit. But that hit is turning, I'm going to say that turns the Sojourn into a strong hit. Yeah, so he's going to get to, like, yes, I swear an iron vow that I will remove them.
We accept that. We have told the agents that you are outside of our range and we do not see you come. Let's skip through our defense system. But you took heavy damage, so they are not looking for you. They are out looking for you. Now you will have time to repair your ship, take your time here.
And that means that we're going to actually get the repair for the ship, and Janya is going to be back at full spirit.
So I must ask, how are you going to attempt to fulfill this vow?
Well, I would take any suggestion you may have, but my first thought was I need to find their hideout. 'Cause unless you know where that is.
No, that is excellent. That is a secret base of which I have a general direction of which you may want to check, but the exploration of that area is unknown to me. We would highly value that information.
And I think that's where we're going to end it for this episode. Next week. Well, you caught me. I actually had kept recording that last episode a little bit further, and then in editing realized a cliffhanger was a way better ending. So, I'm just going to tack that on to this next episode. Janya made that iron vow to hunt down Blade Valenus, and that secured his ability to sojourn at this station, which means that he has repaired the vehicle completely, and he is back at full spirit. So Janya is doing good. He's ready to go. He's raring to go on an exploration. So I am setting up a progress track. I am giving the exploration, the attempt to find the Valenus pirate clan hideout as formidable, which means that on a success, I fill up one entire box of the 10-box progress track. At any time that's appropriate, I can try to make a progress move, which would be that I compare the amount of filled boxes versus 2d10s that I roll. Instead of rolling a die and adding stuff, the action die and adding stuff, you just get the progress track. So one of the first questions we have is Ulan coming with Janya on this trip? So we're actually going to roll, does Ulan want to come with? I'm going to give it unlikely, and that's a 24, so that's a no. Ulan, I could really use some help out there. You seem to know some more technical skills, mechanically and whatnot, that maybe I used to know, but I don't really remember now, and maybe you could grab some tools and help out with fixing the med pod. Oh, no. I'm going to go back to my station, and I have work to do. I have been through far more than enough to go through this. So let's make our first expedition roll. So Janya is going to... So this is Redstone from the future, interrupting real quick. For the next bit, I have made the mistake, or the past me, but you're about to hear all this, makes the mistake that the navigator path allows you to take a +1 if you're trying to take the safest route on doing an expedition. That is only for plotting a course. So I had a +1 onto all of these rolls when I shouldn't. Apologies. So our first roll for the expedition, that's a 2, but I'm adding +1 from one of the assets, the navigator path, because we're going to just take the safe path. We're going to use the smart path, so that's going to be a 2 + 1 plus the 3 wits, which is a 6 versus a 5 and a 9 on the challenge dice, so that's a weak hit. I'm going to say Janya starts going, but he activates the drive too early, and thus we have some issues, and he doesn't actually go nearly as far as he would hope, and the other ships are still in the area, and they might be able to detect him. And just to make things interesting, I'm going to give it a small chance he isn't seen, and I rolled a 2. So, although he makes a little bit of a jump, the other ships do not see him, even though he's rather close to them. So he's going to spend some hours just chilling out, recharging the E-drive. Unfortunately, Janya makes the mistake of trying to engage the E-drive before he has left the full perimeter of Scirocco, and depletes his E-drive far earlier than he would have normally. But luckily, the Valenus ships do not take notice of him in the hours he sits, just drifting in space, all systems off, as he recharges the E-drive. So we're going to do another expedition roll. That is a 6... plus the 3 for my wits and the 1 for the asset. That is a 10, and that is versus a pair of 3s. We have a match. So the cool thing about matches are interesting things should happen. So we're definitely going to roll off of the space encounters table. Ooh, and because of the match, we're actually going to do 2 ticks on the discoveries track. Wait a second, you say? That's not how this game works. You only get to do the discovery track when you explore a waypoint and get a strong hit with a match. Whoopsie daisy. So we're getting that it is a dense nebula cloud, and it is material rich and a good hiding spot. So here we found a nice spot not too far from Scirocco that is a good resource place. But let's see, has the Valenus clan already discovered this? Or is there anybody there? Some other ships? Let's do 50-50. If I roll above 50, it's a yes. I just love it when the neighbors are yelling so loud. About to do a roll, and we have a 47. We just barely... There are no ships here. They have not... The Valenus clan has not discovered this. So in the hours waiting for the E-drive to recharge, Janya scans the nebula and finds that it seems to be completely untouched by anyone. So a great hiding spot for both himself or anyone else. But for now, this has been completely overlooked. He marks this in his logs. So after a few hours, Janya has recharged the E-drive, and he heads back into the unknown. Alrighty, so that's a 4 plus a 3 plus a 1, so that's a total of 8. And another match, 2 2s, rolling on the space encounters. That's a 42. That's a precursor vault. What is its location? 96. Deep space. Scale, a large site. It's a structure. It is smooth and metallic and encased in an energy shield. And first look, it is overgrown. So on the next leg of the journey, Janya is traversing that different space with the E-drive on, and he notices on his scanners there is a large mass that would make a good way station for the E-drive, and it isn't on his maps. Popping back into normal space, Janya is amazed by what he's seeing. Encased in an energy shield is a giant space station just out in deep space. It's a precursor vault. It's one of the remnants of the species from before even the Essentia came. These vaults, they're utter mysteries. So he marks that onto his plans as well. Into his records go the location of this precursor vault. Maybe it is known to others, but it was not known to him, and now he can come back here if he ever wishes to try to penetrate this energy shield. But for now, he sees no evidence of the Valenus clan, so he moves on. Janya spends some time recharging the E-drive, and then he begins to activate the E-drive once more. And for this expedition roll, I rolled a 2, plus the 4, so that's a 6. But I got a match again, so that is the third match in a row for the expedition rolls, but I've had rolls in between, but it's a match of 7s. So that is catastrophic failure. That is bad. I'm going to say the engine has some problems. We're going to give the ship 1 damage, do the damage roll for the ship. That's a weak hit. So we're going to just keep the momentum where it is, keep the ship where it is. When Janya activates the drive next to the precursor vault, something unexpected happens, and the ship makes a large lurch, but then does not actually activate the E-drive. A strange smell and a little bit of smoke comes in through the vents, and Janya goes down to the engineering section to check it out. And much like before, he finds a large circular scorch mark in the room, but the previous outlines of people have actually been filled in as another, it's actually been another, whatever calls the first, this one has happened. Janya is going to attempt to do some sort of repairs here, and he's using his wits. That's a 2 plus a 3. That is a 5 versus a 6 and a 10. So he is unable to fix what's currently going on. Initially, the ship just failed to engage in the engines, but it turns out that the failure on the repair to get it working actually damaged the ship further. But Janya comes up with an idea. Something, well, he was going to say the back of his brain, but it actually seems to be somewhat external. It seems to give him a little nudge that he should take some time and let the E-drive recharge as best it can and take some time to just meditate. And he's going to try to gather information about what's wrong with the engine, maybe about the event of what caused this. All right, so we do a gather information check, but it's plus spirit here, and that is a 5 plus the 5. That's a 10. That is beating this 3 and this 4. Janya figures out what happened, and it's being too close to this precursor vault. Something about the energy shield acted much like Scirocco's energy field. Maybe those are connected somehow. Maybe this precursor vault that is very close to Scirocco, it was only 2 jumps away, has a very similar technology. But with that strong hit, it allows Janya to make another repair. All right, so that is a 6 plus a 3 with the wits. That's a 9 versus a 5 and a 10, so that is a weak hit. I'm going to say that Janya fixes the engine, but the physical damage, that -1 to the integrity, that stands. So he gets the engine limping along, and that's good enough. So our next expedition roll, we get a 3 plus R plus 4. That's a 7 versus a 1 and a 4. That's a strong hit. And we find a stellar object, more specifically a burning yellow star, but not much of significance. So Janya recharges the E-drive once again and activates it. And that is a 5 plus R plus 4 is a 9 versus a 5 and a 7. That's a strong hit. Janya pops into normal space and finds himself riding a turbulent gravitational wave. Luckily, it does no damage to the ship. He rides that for a while and actually recharges the drive a little bit faster. He makes yet another jump. And a 6 plus R4 is a 10 versus a 3 and a 7. Another strong hit. And on our space sightings, we rolled double odds. So that is roll 3 times. And the first roll is a 95, which is roll 2 times. Alrighty, so we've got 4 times total to roll, or I guess 5. Next is 23, a planet, 32, a planet, 39, starship. Then we have a 50, which is descriptor plus focus. We get fragile, remains. And then we get a 99, roll 3 more times. So we get 61, debris filled with mineral asteroids. 83, a turbulent gravitational wave, which we've seen one of those before. 76, a fiery energy storm. Oh, wow. That is a wild combination. And just real quick, since we have a couple planets, what star are they orbiting? That is a 70, which is a corrupted star glowing with unnatural light. Right. So, nearing the end of the E-Drive reserves, Janya notices on the scanners a gravitational well with a lot of activity. So he's hoping maybe this will be the base. Jumps in to the middle of just a bit of chaos, just environmentally. There's a star glowing with unnatural light. A fiery energy storm covers most of the system. Gravitational waves are turbulent all throughout this area, and he is going to face danger to try to be safe. There are asteroid fields filled with minerals, but this is just way too chaotic. Oh yeah, and that is a 5 plus our 1 for the edge. That's a 6, beating the 2 and the 3 on the challenge die. So that's a strong hit. Janya maneuvers himself into one of the system's Lagrange points, basically a place where the gravitational fields are kind of leveled out, kind of a shallower area of like the wave pool. And he rides this out. There are 2 planets, each large gas giants, and he situates himself in the gravitational shallows between the 2 large planets, thus protecting him from both the fiery energy storm and the turbulent gravitational waves. While recharging in this gentle spot, he actually notices that there are the fragile remains of a station, which is close to the area that seems to be a much older station, long abandoned, and there's a spaceship orbiting that station. But to be honest, Janya doesn't feel like he has time, the energy to check that out now. He makes a note of it in his logs, in his navigation charts, and he pursues forward. Well, that was fun. I'm actually coming back this morning to continue playing. Last night at 8:30 in the evening, I know it's summertime, but someone was using a weed eater, and they'd do it for about a minute, and then they'd stop, and as soon as I start talking again, I swear they turn it back on. So we're doing this again. So when I last left off, though this will be only seconds for you, I have 6 boxes filled on the Looking for Hideout. It's a formidable track, so I only get 1 filled box per strong or weak hit, and we're going to do another expedition. When last we left off, Janya had found a wild sector, and he's going again, and so that is a 1 plus R4 is a 5 versus a 2 and a 6. That's a weak hit, so there's going to be a consequence, but let's see what he finds. It's a 14 on the sightings, so that's a stellar object. And it is a 98, a hypergiant star generating turbulent solar winds. So Janya makes another jump. He sees a large mass. He's hoping this will be another chance to find something. And it's a barren area except for this giant star, which just there's no way to really have any kind of settlement here. Does a scan, he finds nothing on about the clan. But what's the negative he takes? And unfortunately, this finding nothing yet again is disheartening to Janya, and he's going to take a -2 to spirit, because when you get a weak hit, you either endure a -2 suffer move or 2 -1s. Or you can also encounter something perilous there. But I think the fact there's nothing here just means he's suffering a lot of self-doubt. And that's a strong hit on that -2 suffer move. So Janya is actually only going to lose 1 spirit total, so he's at 4. So, I mean, he's having trouble with this, but not that bad.
Doing out here? I'm just gonna die out here. I don't know what I'm doing. Why did I agree to do this?
All right, next expedition move. Janya recharges his ship, feeling down. He makes another jump, and that is a 3 plus our 4 is a 7 versus a 1 and a 9. That's a weak hit. All right, before we decide the consequences, let's roll and see the space sighting. That is a 51, which is going to be the descriptor and focus. 14, broken, so something's broken. 53, network, a broken network. So yeah, so Janya jumps into this system. It's actually a bunch of different nodes out here. It looks like some sort of large kind of net or network, but it doesn't seem active. Let's say as Janya jumps in, he knows that it's broken because there's definitely some debris here. He's taking some damage to the ship, and he's enduring some stress with this. So mechanically, I'm going to give a -1 suffer move for stress, and -1 for damaging the hull. Not the hole. The hull. Man, I do not enunciate well sometimes. Endure stress, we have 3 plus our 3 spirit versus a pair of 8s. That is a hard fail. He is not going to take more spirit damage. We're just going to lose 2 momentum. But with the withstand damage, that's a 3 plus a 3 is a 6 versus a 4 and a 5. That's a strong hit. So we actually are going to not get damaged. We're going to make our integrity is going to stay at 4. Spirit's at 3. Janya is feeling quite a bit of despair. Feeling a lot of despair facing this network. This broken network, it's trying to navigate it, and it's very stressful on him. There's all these different connections in the nodes, and he's just inside of it. Janya takes some time to recharge the E drive, checking out the network, doing some scans. And on our next expedition roll, that is a roll of a 2 plus our 4 is a 6, but that's a 7 and an 8. That is a fail. Alrighty. So I'm going to roll on the pay the price table, and that is a roll of a 7. And 7 reads, you encounter signs of a looming threat. But what is the nature of this threat? So let's do the descriptor and focus again. That is a 45 for foul, and another 7 for artifact. Foul, Oh! This net is not actually broken as it appears. When Janya tries to activate his E-drive, he actually powers up this network. It's actually a net, and he is now trapped. Suddenly, all of these different nodes activate, and he is caught in just a web, an energy web field. That sounds like a place to take a break. Only like 10 minutes playing this morning, and we already hit a stopping point.
To learn what happens, keep listening. This show is brought to you ad-free by privilege. No ads, no Patreon, just a cishet white man with disposable income and time. It is performed, edited, and all that good stuff by Redstone Archender. The story is powered by the game Ironsworn, Starforged by Shawn Tomkin. Outro by Glitter Snitchel, channeling the spirits. This has been a Sofa King Cool production.
Additional music also comes from freepd.com.